The reason why I have Elvis and Marilyn in this iconic piece of invaluable artwork is because they are witnesses to what I'm saying as being the truth today. While searching for my son's lost birth certificate that in a safe that had long been lost the combination to it, I found the combination. So when I went into this, lo and behold, I found a piece of evidence that the seller of my flat plane crank had mailed to me a couple weeks afterwards. In those days, you had to go down get a copy made, and he wanted to keep the original because it was memorabilia from his father. Anyway, right in the corner here, you can see the date of when that weird old cam card came to him when he bought the cam positions for 180 single plane crankshaft, 4/15/58. There is no doubt. Look at this, is old school stuff from back in the day. Now look at the fuel injection from back in Elgon fuel injection from back in the day. This injector, little short stacks across from each other. Later, his 60s injection tipped straight up and the stacks were up higher because they reckon that this bank of injectors was robbing air from the other bank and it wasn't as effective as it could be. But this injection is absolutely from Elgon's first run of injection, the way this is designed. The pistons, furthermore, this is old school from hell. Look at the skirt design on this piston and the reinforcement in the dome. This is almost like a casting rather than a forging. Look at this quirky skirt design. Look at this dome. And it's exactly 4-inch bore. From 1957 up, the bore was 3 7/8 on a 283, easily bored to 4-inch in the day when they weren't concerned about weight saving on the block and they made the cylinder walls halfway thick. This is just old school, thick rings from the day. Positive proof that this engine dates to 1958. I claim that it was run in 59. It might have actually been run in 58. The cam card, if the rest of it was all done, he could have run it in the 58 season. Bottom line, I rest my case. Possibly the earliest effort, I claim it is the earliest effort, at a flat plane crank. And the counterweights being recognized by several people that have contacted me as being from the Offie IndyCar era. The plates for the weight on the crank are actually sourced from an Offie Indy motor. So I'm sure the guy was probably a crewman or something, and he just got convinced that a flat plane crank was going to give him some kind of an advantage until probably the thing shook itself apart. You can see some of the damage on the pistons from previous blow-ups and stuff, but they kept running them in those days. You probably couldn't afford to make new pistons and stuff. But look at this. I mean, I've never seen that before, the way they put the pin retainer in there, the buttons. I mean, I've run a lot of pin buttons before, but nothing with a hex like that on. These are really old school, clearly stuff from the 50s. Another evidence of the era of this is the connecting rods that were identified, the number on it, that I couldn't quite make up the part of the numbers, but once I identified them correctly, they're 53 to 56 Buick nail head connecting rods. And look how they've been clearance for the camshaft for the 4-inch stroke that the crank started life as. Now, of course, I've offset ground it down to 3.85, but having said that, this is clearly, absolutely stuff from the 1950s. Old school as it ever could be.